Couple of waves we've got going on. I think one of the very biggest ones is the AI generated content, aka creating content out of thin air. About to get massive as many more startups and advertisers and marketers and influencers realize that they can get these tools for about $100 a month, maybe $200 a month right now, but they don't even know that they're supposed to be asking or looking for those questions. So they don't even know that these tools are available, but it's getting to be a point where more and more companies are creating these tools, and as a result, prices are going to continue to go down, as well as the technological improvements that bring prices down naturally. And so what does that mean? Well, that means you thought the internet was big now. Wait 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 years, 20 years. We're about to have an overload of content. Literally, the internet is going to, 1,000x, 100,000x, 1,000,000x in terms of just literal content. That includes products, that includes advertisers, that includes marketing. I mean, products maybe not 1,000,000x, but there's so many products out there that just don't have visibility because people don't know how to get it out there, and these tools are about to make it really easy and really fast. So that's the first big wave. I think that's probably one of the biggest waves, and if you think about it, none of that is designed around helping the consumer or the average person in mind. It is all around assisting the businesses to sell, market, influence, direct, bias you, inform you, all of these things, but they all lead into one funnel. That funnel gets you to buy something or sign up for something or, get their service or anything like that, or even just bring awareness to their brand so that they can convert you later. So that's the first big wave. Second big wave, honestly, the internet sucks. The internet's not structured for us. I don't know if that's a wave. I don't know if that's enough people waking up to it, but I see it day in, day out, especially with the, call them the high-tech people, the people that are like, I don't like Google search anymore. I'm going to use DuckDuckGo because I don't want to be tracked. Or Google search isn't really working for me anymore because everything's an ad or everything's biased. You see that with a lot of people starting to include certain tags in the search button, such as Reddit at the end of it, myself included. I do that all the time. Like if I'm searching best restaurants in Austin, I might say Reddit at the end of that, so that instead of getting the Yelps and the advertisers all best of lists that really are just paid reviews, you at least get some semblance of maybe some personal insights on Reddit. But here's the thing, with any software, with any tool, with anything like that, it's kind of like email marketing or social media advertising. Like, as people realize it works and it's great, aka using Reddit on the end of it, what's that going to mean? Well, that means as more and more people realize that, they're going to start biasing the results because they're going to start flocking to Reddit to try and start advertising with Reddit via bots that look authentic, that really aren't authentic. They're just brands or sub-brands or people that have been paid by brands to push these comments, push these bots. You see it all the time. You saw it kind of in waves with Wall Street Bets after it was like the biggest sub. It went from, I think, 1 million subscribers all the way up to 10 million in less than a year on Reddit. And in addition to those 10 million, many of those were bots literally just trying to push propaganda, influencers, ads, results, stuff like that. So Reddit's going to lose its viability eventually. Honestly, just the same way email marketing, like that's kind of the new wave. Everyone's like, oh, it used to be SEO optimization, and sure, SEO optimization is still a good one, but it's hard to measure. It's hard to get results. But email marketing, you don't have to worry about ads. You can just build an email list and curate it and send it. And that's true. That's true. No question. And I'll probably do the same freaking thing because guess what? It works. But as more and more tools and brands offer that automation of email marketing, And I'm not talking about just MailChimp that manages your list and sends some campaigns, but I'm talking the ones that like give you analytics like unbound before you've ever even sent an email. That sort of thing is going to cause a huge flood of people's inboxes. And then you've got Gmail, you've got Outlook, you've got all the standard providers that are always going to be kind of combative. So you've always got this kind of push and pulls, no different than SEO optimization, which is, always everyone trying to tweak their algorithms to get to the top for SEO purposes. And that's going to be the same way email marketing is. And so all these waves are just bombarding consumers, and I'm probably going on longer than I should, but just bombarding consumers. But my point on this wave is, as more and more people pile in on a method of communication or a method of channel that works, the less viable as a whole it becomes. You kind of saw that with social media ads in the beginning. Not very many people are using it, but a lot of people were using social media. Therefore, these kind of early brands got dominance on these ads. But as consumers got to be more wary of them, or more tired, more fatigued seeing these ads, more and more brands were onboarded. Brands that honestly, some were even scams or sold a subpar product, even though it looked like it was a great product. All these things, consumers are getting wary of it. So I think the same thing's going to happen with many of these other waves of communications, and people are wary. And that's where again, they're not designed for the average person. They are designed for businesses. And then third, there's lots of regulatory shifts happening. Monopolies on Google. You hear all these politicians all the time wanting to break up Google, or even newspaper people that lean both left and right, talking about, hey, we need to break up all these companies. They're too big. They're too much of a monopoly. And you know what? Something like that may happen. I don't know. Not going to bank on that one. If that one happens, great. The good thing, though, of why I believe Google as a whole is not a serious threat to me right now. Honestly, they suck at pushing out new products and staying with it. I think I saw an article. I think they're on their 16th rebranding / relaunching of like Google Meets, and they're like 12th on Google Pay and all this. Like, they do some things really well. They do. They've done Gmail well. They've done search fairly well. But they're legacy products. They're 20 years old almost. And they haven't changed that much. The underlying logic on them hasn't really changed. Search is really just an advertisers so that they can serve you ads. No different than Facebook, no different than TikTok. And Gmail, Gmail is a little bit more of a utility, but eventually there's going to be something that just does better than Gmail. So I'm not going to rely too much on that, but Google can't give away its services paid with no ads. That's literally the only way their business model works. That's what they do. They do well. What they don't do well is other products necessarily all the time, and or sticking with one. So I'm going to be doing the opposite of them, which is charging for it, no ads, making it a consumer loved product rather than a business advertisers led product. And then number 4th, this is arguably the one that I know the least about. That's why I kind of saved it for last. But with technology, with the internet, with really all those laws that just says, it's easier to get things done, stuff like that there's going to be many more direct-to-consumer brands, many more unbundlings. You saw it kind of with Amazon a few years ago, where all of a sudden anyone could sell anything, didn't even need to have an incorporation, and they could start selling on Amazon. And so you got all these brands, and it's just easier than ever to try and reach consumers. And so you're going to get all these direct-to-consumer brands, or these brands that traditionally were built by strongholds like Johnson & Johnson, General Mills, Amazon, Apple, stuff like that. You're going to get all these other brands that are kind of coming up. I saw it a lot with some of the baby products we were buying when we were first starting out. Like we bought a stroller that was basically like a baby stroller that was about half the price of Up a Baby. That claim to do virtually the same thing. Now, was it exactly the best as UPPAbaby? I don't know. I never owned the UPPAbaby Vista. That's what that thing was called. But that one was about $1,000 or $1,200. I didn't need to spend that much. So I was perfectly fine with this Mockingbird stroller. Long story after that, I probably would have gone with the Doona now that I've seen them in action. The Doona is a kind of an all-in-one car seat and stroller. It just looks so much nicer and easier to get through airport security and such. But anyways, did the Mockingbird. It's about half the price, about $500, which is still insane for a stroller. But you know what? That's what baby products are. But all that to say, there's many, many, many more products that are going to get out there. So what does that mean? Well, that translates into many, many more advertisers, many more marketing, many more best of lists, many more paid business reviews, you name it. Literally, if you went from, in the past, you had 5 stroller brands as an example, and all of a sudden now you've got 50 stroller brands competing. And I'm not talking about just the no-name knockoffs from Amazon with Chinese, shipping from them directly. I'm talking about like true brands that are building a legacy direct to consumer, a little bit of vendors on Amazon and Walmart, stuff like that. But just building, like, you're going to have these products just 10xing, and everyone's going to try. Now, a lot of them are going to fail, but that doesn't mean that there's not a lot of them. Well, how do they get known? Well, they have to market. They have to advertise. So what does that mean? That means all these lists that you're getting are really just blogs of paid reviews or pay to play or affiliate link this or that. A lot of these brands try and get these like referral engines going where it's like, oh, give it to a blogger sells 10 of these a month via their affiliate links, and guess what, now that blogger gets a free stroller or is going to make money off of it for the rest of their life, stuff like that. And why? Well, because it works. People are reading these blogs, these lists, and that's because people don't even know that there's a better way to do it. And until recently, until my product is out there, there's really not a better way to do it. And that's why I think that this product is going to be so revolutionary. And there's going to be probably competitors cropping up left, right, center after we get out there and get some exposure, and people are like, holy shit, this is just better. Like, I can't believe no one has tried to do this before, because this is just so much better. And at least that's the hope I have for people. So we'll see. So all that to say, that wave is many more products, more difficult to wade through everything. There's more waves I can talk about. And by waves, to be clear, what I'm talking about in waves is some large shift, some large change, some large shift in beliefs of things that are happening, whether it's consumer-driven, business-driven, policy-driven, technology-driven. Like, there's lots of these different waves. But one thing that's not changing, at least for my product, is there's new parents every year. I think the U.S., it's about 1 million new parents each year. And when they say new parents, they mean like never been a parent before, brand new to parenting. I think we have about 3 million kids a year in the U.S., but 1 million of those are brand new parents. So what does that mean? Well, that means I now have, at least for purposes of this vertical, potentially a customer that signs up for 21, to 25 years of their life. Not bad. You need them from before the baby's here to all the way after they're out of college. That's why, maybe it's 19 years old, maybe it's 23, maybe it's, honestly 35, because chances are you're not going to be a solo kid. You're going to have lots of parents with follow-on kids. No way to really know which ones are which until that time comes. But, I really like that aspect from the business perspective, less so from the consumer's perspective. Not too worried about them, but like more so from this could be something that grows with people throughout time and helps them over time, as opposed to just being a static kind of product that never changes, kind of like Facebook. Like Facebook, Google search, Instagram, all these Gmail, all these services we use, they really haven't changed. They've been just, their core feature is serving you unlimited content. That's literally it. They tweak their algorithms. They introduce new features, like Facebook started getting beat by TikTok, so they started including all these videos and stuff like that. But ultimately, their core feature is that. Whereas this product I've got is, the core feature is, the one answer. I truly believe that vision of less is more is where we're heading as a society. That's a whole nother wave I could talk about for probably another 15 minutes. But you can see that everywhere. Less is more. More companies designing easier to understand products. That's one of the reasons why the iPhone's so popular. You don't have any buttons. It's just a screen. You look at their remote. It used to be, hundreds of buttons on remotes. Now the Apple remote's out there, and I think you have a big button in the middle and then a couple of little circles. Not much. Roku remotes, stuff like that. So less is more. We don't need to talk about that. That's a whole other wave. That's kind of my core value prop. But I'm looking at, growing with these consumers. These consumers are going to, probably come and go. There's going to be times in their life where they need help, and then maybe they do come back into the fold. I really want to build a consumer-loved brand, though, that's not just a brand just to make money. If it was just to make money, there's plenty of other alternatives. I could go out and make tons of money doing different things. I know that, but really I want to help people. Get things done easier, have less stress. Like, ultimately that's really what I'm building for, is just helping people, reducing their stress. I think being a parent is one of the greatest gifts anyone can ever do to themselves or for their legacy or anything. But more than that, it's just rewarding, but it's never easy. I don't think any parent would say, oh yeah, this was so easy. Can't believe I thought it was gonna be harder and it's just so easy. It's such a breeze. I don't think any parent has ever said that. And if they do believe that, I'd love to talk with them so that I can learn what they're doing, so that we can help other parents. But I think that's kind of the case where let's build something people want. Let's build something that helps them. There's gonna be a lot of training, a lot of communication, a lot of non-believers. I'm not going to worry about them. There's going to be a lot of investors that are non-believers. But the good news with this whole thing is every single little thing I'm doing that's maybe helping a parent or targeting a parent can easily, as we get bigger and more people, we could even structure our whole company into, little mini companies that says, okay, that company's working on just parents, that company's working on just young adults, that one's working on just pet parents, that one's working on just old people, that one's working on just bachelors and bachelorettes. Like the sky's the limit on what we can do to help people, and that's what has me so exciting. So anyways, lots of different waves. To recap, the internet's about to get big, really big with this content. The internet's already tough to kind of navigate. I envision, instead of the way the internet works today, we go into a library and you search and it sends you down the row. That's literally what the search does. You search something, it sends you down the row. You have to walk up and down the halls of a library for that certain category or certain thing you're looking for. You got to pull out a couple of books, you got to scan them, you got to maybe read the title, know that book's not going to be for you. That's really literally what we do when we go to Google search today. I envision a process where you walk up to that library and guess what? They post the answer, like a poster on the outside of the window for you for that answer. Why? Because they're the library. They know it all. They've crunched all those books or all the sources of information in the library already. No need to wade through, waste your time stressing, reading over books, deciding which book is which, deciding which answer is which. Like, literally just move on with life. And you know what? On many of these cases, worst case, like return it to Amazon. Or you know what? You don't like the car, guess what? Go test drive it first. Like you'll know pretty quickly. If you get an answer that says go drive a Kia Telluride, and you're on the fence about a Kia or something, go test drive the car. Like it's nothing that says you got to commit. Anyways, I digress. So that's the kind of second option. And then there's a couple more waves that we were talking about before, but direct to consumers coming. It's kind of the unbundling of e-commerce or commerce in general. Things are only going to get easier to get. The globalization, that's a whole nother wave. Not even going to talk about that right now, but globalization on India, China, South Korea, Europe, Japan, all these places, are getting easier. They're getting up there with the speed of America. They're trying to get more of that entrepreneurial spirit going. Which what does that translate to? Well, that translates to more brands also, more products, more competitors. So we as consumers don't even know what we're in for in about the next 10, 20 years. It's just going to be insane. I mean, think about how 2010 was 12 years ago. Just a completely different world. That's how 2030 is going to look, 2032. So that's where I'm going to be. I'm going to be here to help people, help reduce their stress. I think the last stat I saw was 64% of parents are facing burnout. A lot of that was already high, but, driven a lot by COVID. It caused parents to have to struggle more, do more than they ever thought that they would have to do. Sure, a little bit went remote, but remote plus kids equals a catastrophe when you've got older kids or they need help. So parents are already facing huge burnouts, huge stress. And on top of that, number 3 stat for why people get divorced is communications and arguments. And there's a whole probably way deeper thread to pull on that and gamut to run. But what that translates, the way I interpret that is these little arguments kind of start out like a little snowball rolling down a hill. If you fight 4 times in a week about where y'all going to eat or what you're going to make for dinner, whose turn it is to make dinner or anything like that, guess what? 4 times a week, let's say it's only 2 weeks out of the month, that's 8 arguments every month times 12. That's 96 freaking arguments over what you're going to eat, and that's probably on the low end a year. And then you multiply that by what are you going to watch? Oh, that's now 200 arguments. Whose turn is it to take care of the kid tonight? Oh, that's 250 arguments now. Like, just who's got to pick up the kid from school? Oh, like all these different little stressors and different points, but a lot of them start small and just continuously pick up. And that's what kind of that number 3 stat leads to. Number 1 is an affair. I'm sure that's probably not helped by number 3. Number 2 is finances. Finances are real. People don't know how to manage their money. I've met many a smart person and many a dumb person, and they're on the same level playing field as far as how smart they are with finances and money. Part of that's a failure of society. People just aren't taught how to manage money. Maybe we help people with that too down the road. But number 3 is really the communication. That's why people get divorced. I think it was like 64% of the time or something, or someone rated it high. So it's pretty far up there. There's lots of other stats. The higher the stress of the job, and then you couple a kid on there and it's just even more stressful. Like, I think nurses are 3 times as likely as doctors to get divorced. And, I'm sure there's some messaging there that talks about the reasons why on that. But at the end of the day, it's probably because they just have more stress, more work hours, lower pay. All of that above just kind of correlates to it's tougher. It's more stressful. It's more difficult. So teachers probably in the same boat. I didn't really look for teachers yet. But, they're highly stressed. They have to deal with all these parents, kids, administration, other teachers, and it's not always easy. But anyways, that's basically a full podcast. I have to drive a little faster because all these cars are messing up trying to get around me while I try and get around them. Anyways, Colin, One Decision founder, One Decision, trying to help people automate their decisions in their lives so that by crunching all the numbers for them and letting them know, here's the one answer, go with it. Oh, last wave, completely forgot. This is actually probably arguably one of the biggest reasons why I'm going to get people to try me out, to bet on me, to go with me. This is huge. This is a wave of people are tired of not having personalized results. We've gotten used, whether we like Netflix or not, we've gotten used to having a Netflix-like results for some of the things. And one of the things that's not results-driven is all these blogs, all these best of lists, all these, best vehicle for me. Like, none of these are written for a, call it a larger 5'10" male in mind. Like, if they knew that I was a larger 5'10" male, they wouldn't be recommending me a tiny ass little car or, a tiny little SUV that's not going to fit me. And I'm only 5'10". Like, just imagine the 6'6" people or the 6'4" people or the fat people or, the people with, triplets. They got to have a car that's wide enough for car seats for triplets. Like, all these things that are not personalized, that consumers are kind of yearning for. They're hoping for it. They want it. That's one of the reasons why TikTok has gotten so great and so popular, not just with the kids, but with other people. It's because it's personalized for them. And so that's what we're going to be doing. We're going to be introducing that very, very shortly. I think a month after, we launched 1.0. This is like 1.1, which is the real product, the real, not just an MVP, but the real product. And it's going to be personalized results. The more people give to me, the more people I'll know. Like if you're searching for healthy snacks for my kids and I send you trail mix, but you didn't tell me that your kid is allergic to nuts, well, guess what? That's what the answer is, trail mix. That's what the results say. That's what all the internet says. But you know what? Now you give me, I introduce personalization. You let me know, hey, my kids are allergic to nuts and they're gluten-free and they can't have dairy. Well, first off, 3 things like that, I'm sorry for the kid. It's going to make their life a little tougher. But what I can do is I can give you like apple slices. Guess what? Apple slices with maybe some kind of dip, like honey, where they're not allergic to it. And guess what? Healthy snack, doesn't have any sugar. The sugars that are in the apples are natural sugars. Guess what? That's still healthy. Maybe not as healthy as trail mix, but guess what? Your kid is allergic to nuts, so you can't have nuts anywhere in the house. But that's the kind of results that people want, they need, and we're gonna get them. We're gonna get them for that. So I'm gonna also design the product. Two main failures I see of all products that try and do personalization. Number one, they get you in an echo chamber, a loop, and it gets very tough to get out of it. It's kind of like getting caught in like the rip current or something in the ocean, where once you're in, and it is almost life or death trying to get out. And I hate that for people. I want people to give me the results, but I want them to be able to get new results if they feel like it's overfitting on the model. Even if they don't know what overfitting on the model means, they kind of know what they feel it, they see. They understand that these results are a little bit too personalized or too much the same each time. So 2 features. I'm going to have a toggle that basically says, we're going to rerun all these results. You toggle it and you say you don't want personalized results. Guess what? Little switch of a button. And you're back to as if when you were with us for day 0 as opposed to day 15 or year 15. And we'll give you the same results that we give to other people that have no personalization turned on. And you know what? I don't see hardly any companies doing that, and I think the reason why is they don't even want to give consumers a choice. Again, they're not driven by the consumer choices and what consumers need or want, even if the consumers don't know that they need or want it. Many people probably don't even think that that's an option. You mean I can go back and just like have my Netflix library just randomly added for cool, great movies that's not necessarily an action flick or a rom-com that I've been watching the last month, and that's all it's serving me, and I can't figure out how to get out of it? Wow, that's awesome. So that kind of toggle switch on. And then lastly, another kind of feature that says, like, let's reset the personalization. Like, let's go back a year in my personalized results, or like let's just start from a whole new profile, kind of like as if you created a new Netflix profile. I'll have to work out the technical challenges of that, because one day I'd want to maybe combine the 2 users that I know are 2 of the same users into that. But something that says like let's get a new one, clean slate, or let's go back 6 months and start again, like something that makes it so that people can get out of that loop or change the loop, because people change. Imagine you're a parent on my platform and you've got an 8-year-old and all that, and you've gotten the personalized results for the last 2 years, but then let's say you adopt a kid. Well, guess what? That would change the whole algorithm, but it's hard for an algorithm to kind of know, oh, you've got now 2 kids, and these are 2 different kids, even though they're the same age. Like, many algorithms would just believe they're the same algorithm, same kid, even if you just introduce new allergies and, new things and stuff like that. So having some way to maybe toggle that. Now, again, that's way down the line, future stuff like that, but so we'll see. All right, got 30 full minutes. I can talk and talk and talk. Later.